Hey guys, so today we're going to start rebuilding the stock touring car. I did say I was going to do it in the last video, but the other video was long enough, so we're going to make it to 2 videos. As you can see here, I do have some more upgrades on the stock touring. I do have the damper set up, I do have the rear end, I do have the ball diff, I do have T-plate obviously, I have aluminum top A-arms. I do have the 4th gear servo in here, and obviously got springs in it. Other than that, as it comes, oh, and the PN70, can't forget that. So other than that, it's the way it comes from stock. So first thing what we're going to do is we're going to take off the rear pod and start brushing and cleaning everything up. All right, as you can see here, taking the rear pod off. Also, I took out the diff, just taking the set screw, loosen the set screw and taking it off, and diff pulls out. Other than that, took the rear pod off, which is these two screws, and then the 2 screws in for the motor. So all we're gonna do with the motor is pretty much falling out. Make sure you get in everywhere. Then we're just going to inspect, make sure the pinion is good, make sure everything spins freely, and we are going to pop out the carriages that the axle rides in, because we are going to do these bearings. I won't show you guys what to do with the bearings. There's videos everywhere about them, and not going to waste time on showing you guys. So there's that. Next we're going to take the top damper plate off, assembly off, and we'll start going through making sure everything is good there. Alright, so one way to check if your upper damper setup is good, just kind of hold it so that way it would be like it's in the car. So I don't have I have a 98mm, so it goes in the first holes. You just kind of hold it in the general area. And what you want to do, is you want to take your, just kind of like press it. So you'll see here, I have a little bit too much friction, so it's actually a little too tight. So we're going to go ahead and we're just going to take it apart, make sure everything is not binding up. Either something is binding or I just have it a little too tight. But you can see here at my local track, I run the green spring here and the blue spring on the bottom. This is the PN one. I know a lot of guys, they cut right here and here, because they do sit awfully close to right here. So it does make getting the back battery brace or battery strap in a little hard, but I haven't done it. I haven't found an issue. I just deal with it. All right, so we have everything apart, and I did notice there is no more grease on the friction plates. Now, some people say not to run them. Some people do run them. I do run a little bit of grease, just I like the feeling it's a little bit smoother. So that's the issue. That's why I was binding up. Yeah, so we found out the issue, and we're just going to rebuild it. The strut feels good. No binding up there. We're just going to reassemble everything, but we're going to put grease on the bottoms of the pads. Now, a lot of people use different greases. I use just the normal gear grease because it's durable, and I just put a little bit on my finger and just I just skim coat it. Don't put a lot on because you don't want too much slip, but and that's it. One thing, when I first bought this, I'm still new to the hobby, or new to Mini Z, but when I bought the PN chassis, I couldn't find a good video of how to build this, and I was going off of pictures. I probably built it 7 times wrong, so I'm just going to do a quick how to build it once I figured it out. So you take the bottom brace, for example, I have the PN chassis or PN rear end, so this is the bottom of it. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the, I don't know what to call this, I call it the sleeve. You're going to put that through the bottom. And always make sure, because you're putting into metal, that you always use Loctite. Always try and get just a little bit on, because they are just little parts and shouldn't come loose without Loctite, but just to be sure. So all I do is I hold the head of the screw just with my finger, and then I just run it all the way down until I can't go more. And then I run blue, purple, whatever you want to call that one. So I'm going to put that one on first. Then we're going to take a friction plate, put that on. Next we're going to put on, I don't know what you would call this, but we're going to put this on. And then next we're going to put the next friction plate on. Next we're going to take my green spring. Now you want to compress it just because it makes it easier. You're going to take your spring, or your screw, sorry, put it through your shock shaft or your eyelet, put the washer on the end of the screw, and then you're going to, this is a lot easier to do without all this on, but laziness is the better of me today. And now you're going to, all right, we got the washer on. Now, if you remember, we had the bottom just finger tight. So now if you see here, I turn the screw, the whole thing's moving. That's what you want. And now, we go back and do our test. It's a very semi-good test, but yeah, it works. Some people run this above, some people run it lower. I run it above it because it puts it flat, but so there you go. I'm holding it a little too tight, but it'll break in and it'll be nice and smooth, and that's how you rebuild the rear damper setup. Yeah, you can already see it's starting to loosen up a bit. Now, I've already shown you guys in the last video how I get everything nice and loose in the front end, and how you rebuild the front end. So it's pretty much the exact same no matter which car, as long as you have the mid-motor car, two-wheel drive mid-motor car. So I'm not gonna bore you guys with that part. We're just gonna check the T-plate quickly and make sure the T-plate is good, and then we're gonna start reassembling everything, and then we'll start rebuilding that ball diff. All right, so we brushed off the car, and the bearings are currently being cleaned. Now we're just going to start reassembling everything. Everyone has their own way of cleaning bearings. I pretty much looked at a YouTube video one day and kept doing it the same way. You put them in a solution, shake them up, and re-oil them. There's a million videos, not going to bore you guys with that. So I'm just going to start reassembling everything, and then we'll start rebuilding the ball diff. Right now, I'm not actually going to rebuild this one because this one I just did not too long ago and it's still very good. Not going to tear apart something that doesn't need it. So I'll show you basically like this one's already been rebuilt. And I'll show you how to do it. So what you first off do is there's the E-clip right here. You can take that off and then basically everything here is going to come off. And your slipper adjuster, pretty much, your how you adjust the tightness of your diff is right here. And all I simply do is I stick screwdriver in there and you just basically turn it. You do need to hold both the axles, so it's nice to do this in the car so you can hold both the axles and just turn it. But you'll see this little O-ring right here. They tend to wear out and they are the exact same as a shock seal O-ring from Team Durango. These are the ones I use. They're just relatively available at hobby stores near me, so they'll last and they're always available to me, so I will keep using those. But back to rebuilding the diff. So when you take it off, you will see there's all the little balls in there and there is a bearing in here. And then there is 2 rings. It's much easier if I had a knife, but I don't right now. So basically you want to clean out all this and make sure, as you can see, mine's already all looped and ready to go. But all the rings, make sure they're not flat spotted, make sure they're all clean and really good to go. And then you will see how this part is still gold, this part is silver. So what happens over the course of time is you will develop a little ring in the diff ring where the balls ride it. That's not that good. You want a nice flat surface. So all I do is I take some sandpaper and just put and go around and around and around and around and around and around until basically the little ring is gone. This is what these ones came out to. And all you got to do is make sure that when you put them on, you'll see a little flat spot there. Now that little flat spot comes into play because if you on this little spider or star, it's actually D-shaped. And when you put this one back on too, make sure it's all in there. And then the other star. You'll see how this is the other star. You'll see how it's D'd. And you just want to make sure that the bottom of that matches up. So it is nice and flush, like that. That's pretty much it. Like I said, that's my spare one, so it's already ready to go. And then all you do, this is basically one that's ready to go. That's the one I ran once since it's been rebuilt. So we're gonna go ahead and put this one in and show you guys how to break one in. All right, so the way I break in my diffs is obviously car on, batteries in, and you wanna hold one wheel and just let the one side turn. That's all that's gonna happen. I'll show you for example. All right, so you'll see here, good to go. So what I'll do is I'll hold just slowly go like that, and then eventually it'll start to loosen up, and then you're just gonna keep tightening it until it's good to go. And there you have a stock touring car all rebuilt.